Welcome back to EdTech 2020, presented by Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission, IAMAI, Zendesk, and National Skill Development Corporation. We now move on to an interesting fireside chat. Garima Head Programs, Education and Skill Development, South Asia, Adobe. Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education. Request Ms. Garima Babbar to take over.
Thank you. Thank you so much, EduTech team. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be on the same screen as Honorable Sir today. The topic of today's discussion, as I was, intimated earlier, was that when at the time of technology, when everything around us is transforming and digital is taking precedence, how is the shift that is happening on the higher education front? And we have the pleasure of having Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman AICTE, along with us to discuss on this topic. And in today's session, I request, I'm sure we have a large audience in the virtual discussion today. I request everybody, if you have any questions for Sir and of course for me, please feel free to put it in the chat window, which will be picked up by the moderator. And we will pick up suitable questions right after the questions or during the interaction. Can I request the host to be on mute, please? Thank you. We all know that in today's times, technology is shifting and education has been impacted. But there is always a silver lining. While we always wanted this digital transformation to happen, and COVID has really accelerated that. Students are learning from home. Teachers are teaching online, but education continues. All thanks to the various educators and leaders like Sir, that education is the only sector which is continuing at this point of time, but with more thrust on digital. We have been witnessing a great change at this point of time, and today's chat will have certain questions that I would request Sir to address the audience and really understand where are we going today from X point to Y point when it comes to education. Sir, thank you so much for being on this show today. And as we were discussing backstage, I think it was very interesting to know the transformation and AICTE is leading certain initiatives. When we talk about digital today, with the new education policy, digital is the core principle on which all the institutions, be it technical or non-technical, are today pivoting towards blended learning or distance learning. I would like to understand your views in context to national education policy, which is the vision forward for our education.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Garimaji, for this very interesting question, which we are all addressing during COVID times, and in future, in the post-COVID times also, we need to address. Number one, for a long time, we have been talking about digital India in terms of digital financing, in terms of direct beneficiary transfer of sending scholarships and subsidies to the individuals directly into their accounts so that middlemen are removed from this whole circuit. But when it came to education, there were certainly several initiatives which have been started. Number one, first one was NPTEL. You must be remembering, for engineering education, all IITs put together created large number of courses which were essentially recorded into their classrooms and made available to other institutions. Subsequently, there was a project of what is known as virtual lab, and therefore simulation-based experiments, remote controlled experiments also came into the existence. And subsequently, AICTE and with the help of Microsoft, we developed Swayam, which is the national MOOCs platform. And today we have more than 2,500 courses, 1.2 crore students, that is 12 million students using it. Not only Indians, but more than 114 countries are using it. And AICTE and UGC permitted 20% of the course credits to be taken through MOOCs platform. That means out of the 100 courses which a student supposes to be doing for getting his degree, 20 of those courses can be done from any faculty anywhere through MOOCs, thereby encouraging a student to learn from the best faculty available in that domain from anywhere in the country. That being the case, actual implementation was little slower. Number of universities who adopted this 20% credit transfer was very limited. Number of students who actually took these courses were also comparatively limited. Although 1.2 crore students were using the MOOC courses, the actual registrants for the examination and transfer of credits was not even a few lakh students. And that is where we were saying that although digital technologies are available, solutions are available, we have not accustomed or acclimatized to that or not using it. The COVID made it happen because suddenly there was abrupt closure of the educational institutions, be it colleges and universities, and the curricula was not covered entirely, maybe somewhere 50, 60, 70%. So the balanced curriculum was to be treated by the faculty members. So everyone graduated into the online mode of teaching learning. Some of them who were already aware of it and using it, they transformed, changed very quickly, some of them with difficulty and some of them had more difficulty. And that is where I think digital education has come to stay. The benefits of digital education are very much visible today to everyone because everyone was forced to use them. And therefore, in the post-COVID times, there will be a lot of online degree programs which are being talked about in the National New Education Policy, which will also become the order of the day. Some of the students who are in the remote places need not come to the universities in the cities, but by staying at their homes, will be in a position to complete some of the degrees. I think that is where we are moving. So I think COVID, in a way, it has created blessing in disguise. It has created like an accelerator. In our startup system, we have ecosystem where we say accelerator. So this is an accelerator of the sort which has come into existence.
Absolutely, sir. I don't think I could have agreed. I agree more on this. That COVID has definitely accelerated the digital transformation that India was aiming for. But also, sir, you touched upon a very important point about distance learning, education, and I know you were the forerunners when it came to distance learning, and Swayam was one of the platforms. And I'm really glad to hear the number of students who have now onboarded the journey and they have really started adopting courses with credits on the Swayam platform. So while we are discussing this important point, I know that this is something that I also feel, when we do a lot of trainings for teachers or for students, at times they don't have internet connectivity. And there exists a digital divide between rural and urban, private or government institutions. So, what about and there were some transformational, things that you were discussing with me backstage when we were discussing this very point, that students are now online. But how do we ensure that they have the internet connectivity to really get access to all the courses, the content, and the curriculum, and also collaborate better with the teachers? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I think this is a very important point which has to be addressed by all of us together. And during COVID times, when suddenly classes all started in online mode and students had gone back to their respective places, towns and villages, a student from, say, Tamil Nadu or Kerala would have gone back to Punjab or Haryana or Bihar. And then the classes were online. And if his village or town did not have enough connectivity, or if his home did not have this connectivity, such students were actually facing a lot of difficulties. So when we came to know of this, we sent an appeal to all the institutions, which are AICTE approved institutions, which are about 10,000 in number, stating that even if the student does not belong to your college, but he is in your neighborhood, maybe in the distance of within the same town or maybe within 30, 40 kilometers, please give them access through what is known as creating hotspots in the campus. They may sit in the garden, they may sit in one of the auditorium or some classroom, and let the education of every child continue. And to our appeal, I'm very happy that most of the institutions immediately said, yes, sir, we will make use of this opportunity like a corporate social responsibility. Since anyway we are paying for the bandwidth, if we are not using it, if someone else is using it, it is for the benefit of the country, it is for the benefit of our student community, and they came forward. The second part is in many localities, there could have been internet connectivity available, but students had problem of devices as well. See, sometimes people do not have even a smart mobile phone. So I, on many occasions, appealed during those initial period from March end to about April, that those students who do not have devices, but most of the middle class and upper middle class people in their homes would have at least 5 smart mobile phones lying idle. Because whenever there is a new model, we are all tempted to buy a new one when the earlier one is still in a working condition. Why can't we donate it to the poor children? Actually, I think that is where the empowerment of our children can take place. That way, we were in a position to take care in big way, creating a help desk. The help desk was not only for internet connectivity, but all variety of problems that the students were likely to face or were facing, whether it is in terms of accommodation, food. Well, all students were not able to go back to the hometown. Some of them were stranded in the same place where they were getting education, and the college hostel was suddenly closed. So where will they go? So I think some of the, and philanthropists or some other college or some social organizations came forward to give accommodation, to give food, give medicine, give transport. I think the society as a whole rose to the occasion. Like our, whenever Prime Minister says that we will all give up the subsidy, many people do it. And similarly, when AICTE gave this call, I'm very happy that within 2 hours of opening the portal called Helpline Portal, we received 17,000 people who were willing to help, and help takers were only 3,000. No, so that was a fantastic achievement. We could do it using technology again.
I think, yes. So I'll again reiterate the point that while COVID has accelerated digital transformation, at the same time, it has helped all of us, rise to the occasion of humanity and compassion, so that we are all in it together and we all win in this. Um, Sir, I was going through the national education policy, and this is something that, yeah, personally being in the field of education for a long time, that I'm excited about is that while creativity and critical thinking is one of the critical pillars that government wants to endorse in education, be it school education or higher education. One of the most important things that I'd like to talk to you about today is, in addition to all the technical courses, we are talking about STEM getting shifted from STEM to STEAM, with A being a part of it, so that liberal arts and other courses and other vocational courses are also given equal importance in addition to technical ones. What would you like to share your thoughts on this for implementation?
Yes, indeed, this is one of the finest moments for the country. In fact, this policy, in that sense, is not only transformative, game changing, and empowering. Because we have seen many a times students come to engineering, but their basic interest was in, say, painting or music. And today there was no scope for taking them as a credit course. And therefore, they were feeling totally left out in the colleges. So, in the new policy, when we talk about all institutions being multidisciplinary, so you will have a scope for doing liberal arts, you will have scope for doing different variety of other courses which are of your interest other than even your regular courses, and also credit them. See, most important thing is also join them into your transcript. I think that is such a great empowerment. The second part of this is there are chances of some students who find that they are not fit for this education. Their interest completely lied somewhere else. So there is a lateral exit possible at the end of first year, at the end of second year, at the end of third year. The timing, when you realize that this is not your cup of tea, you can go out and join some other stream. and all the credits that you had earned, they can be deposited in your academic bank of credits and make use of that bank balance, credit balance, to use that for getting a degree in some other domain subsequently. Of course, for a given degree, you will have to require to have certain minimum number of credits of that discipline to be done. There is no doubt about it. But certainly, this is a great empowerment which is going to be possible through this particular coursework. Secondly, when you talked about vocational education, I think it's very important that in a country where skills and vocations were not so much given importance, putting in school education itself, right from class 6, various types of skill sets. And by the time a student completes the present 12th grade, or in the new system, it is after 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that is 15 years of education after the age of 3. That means when you reach 18, you would have at least got expertise in minimum 2 skills, and they may be of different varieties. That could be welding, that could be electronics technician, it could be fitting, it could be carpentry, it could be plumbing, like engineering skill sets. Or on the other side, it could be also AI, it could be computer programming. So whether it is computational skills or even hardcore hands-on skills, one of the 2 skills have to be earned by a student by the time they come to the grade 12. And after that, when they come to engineering, naturally, there is an emphasis on learning by doing. And that is where our engineers will be produced in the future with this kind of input, will not only be very sound in theoretical knowledge, but they would be appreciating and will be capable of doing hands-on practice work as well.
So you touched upon a very important point here, learning by doing, and that's all also about project-based learning, which the policy really emphasizes on, because it is not just about theoretical knowledge, but also about the practical application of that knowledge in day-to-day life, and that's what makes all the difference. This also addresses one of the interesting questions that we have in the chat window. How would colleges traditionally known for their technical courses deal with the interdisciplinary approach that NEP talks about inculating? And I think, so your address right now, I think particularly touches upon and answers this particular question to our, virtual listeners. While we go forward, I think something that I also want to discuss with you is about upskilling, reskilling of students to map to the industry demand. And that's been a very, very popular topic all throughout. While we talk about employability skills, while we talk about entrepreneurship, these are all very important, and we had started taking significant steps towards it. However, with current slowdown at this point of time, I'm sure your students are reaching out to you that they are worried about skills on one side, where internships are on hold at this point of time. Is there any guidance that you would like to give them so that they're all motivated and get back on the track?
I think, my dear students, I should address them directly. In fact, I keep receiving lots of mails from students, and I try to reply to most of those students' mails as well. And one of the questions which comes in the mind of students today during COVID times is whether there will be jobs available after the graduation is completed, because many companies are, deferring the appointment letters to be issued, whether the appointment letters indeed will come. Secondly, in some of the courses, internship is mandatory and it carries credits. Now that the industry has not allowed us to do internship, what will happen to our degree? Such kind of questions keep arising in the minds of the students. I would like to reassure you that internship is a different ball game, where certainly if you go to a industry, you will learn a lot of hands-on work. But there are many possibilities of doing internship without going into the industry. There are lots of challenging assignments and problems that the industry can pose online, and you try to understand them through the internet and then try to solve them, and then interact with some of the mentors from the industry and learn hands-on what is to be done in such a particular situation. I think that also can be treated as internship, and therefore online internship is also allowed officially. And that's why, as Garima ji was already saying, that digital transformation is happening continuously. Even internships can be online. Today, during COVID time, all our meetings are online. All our training programs for faculty are online. I think online has become order of the day. And therefore, my dear students, don't worry. That is one part. And secondly, certainly because of economic slowdown, which has been created by COVID crisis, there would be slightly slump in the number of jobs in the beginning, but as soon as this phase is over, and this will also pass, everything that comes in life also passes away. And so COVID crisis also will pass away and jobs will be created, new jobs will be generated. And many of the students who graduate, they can create their own startups and also give jobs rather than asking for jobs. All these possibilities exist. And as far as skills are concerned for employability, we all are aware that AICTE started a portal called NEAT, NEAT, National Educational Alliance for Technologies, under which different companies, whether large or small, startups or otherwise, they have niche products which have been developed. They are all AI-based personalized learning products. By paying a small fee, one can get expertise in some of the areas where future jobs are going to be created, like AI, IoT, machine learning, 3D printing, robotics, your cloud computing, cyber security, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, and also courses like what Adobe is giving a lot of software free, and that the students can use and really be creative and create and start their own entrepreneurial journey. And therefore, students should not worry about a short phase of dip which has occurred. And in the lifespan of say 100 years, normally we say human beings can live for 100 years, although most of us live about 80, 85 years. But generally, we say human life cycle is 100 years. So in that, some 8 months, which is 100th part of it, is a very small thing. And therefore, don't worry, you have a long life to go, another 60, 70 years to go, and you will do a lot of great things in life.
Thank you, sir, for the ray of hope and great motivation. And I'm sure students and even parents like me who are listening to your words are really motivated, and we'll carry it back to our students, to our children as well. While we spoke about NEET, there is also a question in the chat window. With so many players in digital education, will AICTE or government come up with ranking system to help students choose the right brand of course from an edtech perspective? What's your vision, sir?
Yeah, in fact, in a way, NEET itself is that, because there are a large number of companies who put up their products onto our portal. Not all of them are selected. So only those who, whatever they are offering, is really going to create employability on one side, and whether the money that they are charging is worth that cost. Both the things are seen by a very reputed set of experts who are drawn both from industry as well as high level of academic institutions like IITs and ISCs of the world. And they give recommendation and then we do it. And therefore, rest assured that whatever products have come on the NEET platform are all, you can say, category ones. And there are many who are also offering free of cost. It is not that everyone is charging. Some of them have some other sources of income and they would like to really empower our students. And therefore, we have a NEET and a set of free courses which is also available in our website. So please rest be assured, even the free courses are vetted by a committee before they are onboarded. Just because someone is giving free courses also are not onboarded. We check for quality, and only when we find that this will add value to a student, because he is spending time. Either he spends money or he spends time on that product, and therefore AICT has been doing a lot of due diligence before putting up anything on our platform.
Online is definitely here to stay for a long time, and most of the students are preferring the edtech world today, which is a plethora of courses for our skill development. And that's precisely is the choice of students to become leaders of tomorrow. So we have touched upon digital transformation. We've also spoken about students, but here's something that I I believe that we should also look at how we are enabling teachers with the power of skills, while they are the ones who have to pass on knowledge or train the students, but at the same time, what are we doing for professional development of teachers, be it through any of the edtech platforms or any online courses that we can come up with? uh, we'd like to talk about that, sir. What's your vision?
I think it's a very important question, and I have a lot of statistics to talk about in this domain. 1.5 years ago, not 1.5, 2 years nearly, we started what is known as Atal Academy. Atal stands for AICTE's Training and Learning Academy. The abbreviation is ATAL, AICTE's Training and Learning Academies, to give training to faculty members in all emerging areas. I just now listed out all those areas like AI, ML, 3D printing, robotics, blockchain, etc. So we have all these areas in which faculty training was started in the face-to-face mode. And in the last whole year, we had planned 200 programs. We could complete 185 programs by March 25th. And we had to suddenly stop our programs as well, like educational institutions had to close. And with those 185 programs, we could train 9,600 faculty members. But during COVID, because 15 programs had to be cancelled, we decided to go online. And in the first 4 months of COVID times, that is during this most of the lockdown period, we had only 85 programs. That means less than half the programs. And we trained more than 18,000 faculty members. So our ratio of success was 1:4. Half the programs, double the faculty trained. And now we have already have 475 programs online going on in the next 6 months, and we are going to train 100,000 faculty members. I think this is one area which is very important, which is completely continuing and ongoing. Second thing, we have already said, unless a faculty goes through what is known as faculty certification program of 8 modules, he will not become a regular faculty. And this is also available on the Swayam platform. And faculty are fully trained while they join, for their promotion, for their continuous development. Entire life cycle of the faculty members is being taken care of.
Thank you for that, sir. I know we have almost reached the time limit. The hosts are waving at us. But again, thank you very much, sir. It was really a pleasure speaking. Sir, you're on mute, sir. Could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. I just wanted to say very interesting one more thing. The new policy
Yes.
also talks about regulation being light but tight. And people were asking this question quite often. This year, during pandemic, unlike in the regular time when AICT used to send experts to institutions for inspection or for calling the institutions with their all drawings of the buildings, etc., during the scrutiny, this time we did everything using Microsoft Teams, and then without going to the campus virtual tour, we were able to do everything online. Therefore, on one side, no one can blame that we had shown this and they have not seen it, because everything is also recorded. Video recording is also done. So black and white, we have proof of what has happened, what has transpired. So allegations from one party to the other party is not possible. Absolutely transparent, ethical system has got evolved thanks to COVID and entire digital transformation again.
Wow, sir. Thank you. Thank you again very much. I think it's such a pleasure, and I wish we had more time to continue this discussion, but we have a hard stop now. I really thank you for your presence. I thank the organizers, the entire team of IAMAI, EduTech, and all the organizers. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to have this chat with you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was indeed an interesting conversation. Thank you, dear sir and Ms. Babbar, for sharing your insights and taking time out to join us today. I would also like to thank our valued partners, Zendesk, Amazon Web Services, Dell Technologies, PayPal, Lead Squared, and RedSeer. We'll now take a short 10-minute break before we move into the next session. Stay tuned.